think about the road and you think about one other thing. Welcome to 10 Minute Travels. With me, as always, is Shane Patrick.
With me, as always, is Phil Freeman. Today, we're going to be talking with Phil about the inception of MotoQuest.
Let's get right to it, shall we?
Let's talk about a year and a half, not even a year and a couple months ago, when there was rumors of this very interesting flu that was happening. I think I first heard about it maybe end of December. I mean, I know it hit the world news in November or whatever, but I remember you were on your way to Japan. That was going to be the next trip, and it was last winter. We were walking, skiing, whatever, chatting about what's happening in the world, and you were supposed to go to Japan in February.
Yeah. We usually run a trip during the cherry blossom time in March. And I was getting ready to go. And then the world fell in. And all of those trips got to a point where it was not possible to go forward. As everyone knows, everyone got locked down. And wow, that really was a gut punch for us. We had to let go, a substantial part of our staff, and we went underground. We were all working in pajamas, doing the Zoom thing. The phone calls were still coming in, though. There was a dead spot right as it was lockdown, and then it started to trickle again, and we were going into our Alaska season. So that was the season that we had, and we ended up running trips throughout the summer. It wasn't robust, but we were doing it, and the riders were loving it. And then we went into a fall season and actually got pretty busy. I was gone for 2 months, as we talked about in another episode, but did it a little bit more. And now I'm going on we're basically at the height of the pandemic right now. And I'm leaving on Thursday for Ecuador. And I can't believe that those words are coming out of my mouth, but I'm really excited. And I have a couple doctors that are on this trip. And I'm going to go with what they said. They're going to travel. You just keep your mask on, keep your distance, and keep safe. And go see it. And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, and that maybe, whatever the new normal is, there's going to be some stuff that happened this last year that's never going to happen again. And there's some stuff that's changes that happened that are going to be the way it is, right? We're going to see Americans wearing masks in airports, probably for the rest of your and my time traveling in airports. Whether it's required or not, who knows? But it's just one of those things now. Handshaking, who knows how that's gonna play out? But so last year, so you postponed Japan, and then you postponed. Was it Peru that was next that was postponed?
Yeah, it got postponed.
And then you came to Alaska, did a little bit, and then down into Southwest. Now you're going to Ecuador again. Is Japan on the books at the moment?
Japan just had another spike. The first thing I do when I turn on my computer is look at the world situation. And everybody's in the same boat. Everything is subject to change. And
yeah, if this was only happening to you, you'd be out of business, right? Because it's happening to the world, you got a chance.
Our competitors can't even believe we're running trips. And I wouldn't go to Ecuador if I didn't have the demand for it. Our riders want to go.
Yeah, they're itching to do something to get out and
so it's, during COVID, just like we talked about a little bit earlier, but you just take the precautions and you go forth and do it. We're we're setting up for another Alaska season, and I would think that we're at the very heart of the bottom of this right now, and we're going to start climbing out of it. And our riders have been calling us and registering for trips and trying to keep us in business, literally. And all I can think of is how grateful I am about what kind of community these are. So as I said before, I don't think of myself as a motorcyclist, but I am a traveler. But most of these riders are motorcyclists. They did grow up with motorcycles in the family or around. And if not, they are travelers like myself. But any given group of riders, they're scuba divers, they're skydivers, they're pilots, they're into race cars, they're skiers, they're adventurers. And most of them are capable of doing these organized tours on their own. However, that group, the camaraderie that comes with one of those trips and the inside jokes and all that, you just can't duplicate it. And we bring a little bit more support. We always have a local driver wherever we are in the world. You can store all your luggage there. We have tools. We fix anything that gets broken down. We just make sure the show stays on the road and that the hotels are all set up, and they like that. But all of these people are super capable on their own. And when you bring them together collectively, it's quite a group. And I just feel really lucky that I've met all these people, because if you would have told me that I was going to be a motorcyclist, I would have laughed at you, because I don't get into leather, and I don't get into the classic, Harley Davidson desert, riding through the desert on a long highway. When you think many people do seem to have that image, but if you think about it in the context of that, you're riding the world, and it's like you're sailing across continents or even skiing them. And you're in the moment, you smell the smells that are fresh right off the road. Children run to the road to wave at you. And whenever you stop, a motorcyclist will come up and talk to you. And it turns out that motorcyclists are pretty dang fun people to hang out with. And what I like most about them is they're accountable. They are risking a lot to go see and enjoy a lot, and they get it. And you don't hear them complaining much. And they're very much, for the most part, upbeat, and they're doers. And man, that's the demographic I want to spend time with.
Yeah, and engaged, right? I mean, think about sitting in a car. You can eat a sandwich, you can do the crossword, listen to the radio, talk on the phone, and drive. Riding a bike, pretty much riding a bike. There's a lot going on there, and different mentality, right? Just to travel.
Yeah, they've done studies on the brain of motorcyclists, and you're looking forward and you're concentrating. So you're developing part of your brain that is looking ahead. And one of my riders said the thing he liked most about riding was that you think about the road and you think about one other thing. And I said, what do you mean one other thing? And he said, whatever it happens to be, but you're on that one thing. That's it. When you're engaged and you're sitting on a motorcycle, you're going down the highway, you are engaged in that thought, and you're not deviating from it. You're mulling it over until you're done, and then on to the next, but you're not scattered. You're pretty defined on your thought pattern. And I think it's a type of meditation.
That was Phil Freeman telling us about the inception of MotoQuest. If you want to learn more about that or anything else we talk about at 10 Minute Travels, please check us out at 10minutetravels.com.
And we want to remind you to make sure that your sense of humor matches your sense of adventure.